You guys, Shelley and Ace are on the cover of Essence, and the comments, it's not looking good. Especially after Ace went into that interview with Speedy and was calling out Nick, basically calling out Nicolandria for being not real.
Shelley has now responded to all of the people clowning her and Ace's relationship, and Shelley is not holding back. So after what Ace said in his interview with Speedy, where Ace seemingly implied that he does not believe that Nick and Nicolandria are a real couple, where Ace also confirmed that basically him and Nick are no longer friends, despite Nick literally always being there for Ace.
Ace stirred the pot with Nicolandria fans during his appearance on the August 27th episode of the Speedy Mormon podcast. During the interview, he said while he was in the villa, Nick told him there was, quote, no romantic spark between him and Nicolandria.
Thought each other were attractive, but it was never going to be more than just friends right then and there. And they were just, it was just going to be cool, and just as time goes on, Sierra gets, dragged out the villa. Now it's a thing where I'm feeling like I have to be catering to know what's going on between Nick and Nicolandria. What's going on between Nick and Nicolandria? It's part of the Love Island experience. But my last conversation with Nick before I left was he finds her attractive, she finds him attractive, but they haven't found a romantic spark. And that was my conversation with him throughout this entire experience. He was saying that it was nothing more than a physical attraction. It was just not at that romantic spark level. Coming out the villa and, seeing that this whole Nicolandria thing has been a thing for a while, it's like damn, that's crazy, you know what I mean?
So apparently, when you're watching your former villa mates sign major agency deals, launch international campaigns, and become cultural phenomena, the natural response is to run to podcasts with cryptic allegations? The desperation is honestly fascinating to watch unfold, because here's what's really happening. While certain people are out here doing damage control interviews and having media outlets add mysterious disclaimers to their photo shoots, Nicolandria is literally rewriting the Love Island success playbook. But the real tea? The timing of all this bitterness tells us everything we need to know about who's winning and who's pressed. What I'm about to break down will show you exactly why some people are working overtime to discredit what's clearly becoming one of the most successful Love Island stories in recent memory. Trust me, the receipts I've gathered will make the jealousy so obvious it's almost embarrassing. But before we dive into this beautiful mess of success and jealousy, if you could smash that like button, hit subscribe, and definitely tap that shiny new hype button. It genuinely helps us keep covering the couples we actually want to see win. Let's jump straight into the mess that kicked off this whole situation. Right after the reunion special aired, and right as Nicolandria started making major moves, suddenly we get Ace's cryptic interview with Speedy Mormon, where he refuses to answer directly if their relationship is real. When asked point blank about their authenticity, Ace's silence was described as louder than words.
Do you feel like Nicolandria and Nick's relationship is real? Is this you thinking, or is this your answer? I'm gonna assume that that's your answer.
Mm-hmm.
And he allegedly claimed Nick told him there was no romantic spark. But here's what's really interesting. If Ace really had the damaging tea he claims to have, why not just say it directly instead of all this passive-aggressive cryptic energy? The man really said he has a lot of respect for Nicolandria, and then proceeded to publicly question her relationship status on a podcast. That's not respect. That's calculated sabotage disguised as concern, and the timing makes it even more suspicious. But what happened next proves just how badly this backfired, and why certain media outlets started scrambling to distance themselves from the drama. Here's where it gets really telling. After Ace's interview went viral for all the wrong reasons, Speedy Mormon had to hop online and do damage control. He defended Ace by saying,
"Here's what I do want to say, and this will be the last thing. I want you all to consider that maybe, just maybe, people are allowed to feel how they want to feel, especially when they have information that you don't have." So today you may have seen a clip, or you may have seen a portion of an interview when someone was asked if they felt as if a relationship was real. And while you are absolutely entitled to have your opinion on that, I do want to say that some people may have more information than you have. They may know things that you don't know. They may be aware of things that transpired that you don't know. They may have seen and witnessed things that you have not seen. Or you may see somebody have an opinion on a relationship. I would just say maybe, just maybe, they know something that you don't. Because if what I was told off camera is true,
if you need your interviewer to come back and explain what you really meant after the fact, maybe your original interview wasn't as damaging as you thought it would be. The fact that Speedy felt compelled to essentially defend Ace's cryptic behavior just highlights how weak the original allegations actually were. Real friends don't need podcast damage control tours for the haterade you spray. But speaking of people getting unnecessary hate, let's talk about how Shelley is being dragged into mess she didn't create. The most unfair part of this whole situation is how Shelley is getting dragged into drama she didn't start. The woman has been consistently classy, focusing on her relationship and career, and now she's getting hate because of her partner's questionable interview choices. She's been selective about what they share on social media, choosing to stay grounded and rooted in their own reality instead of engaging with the noise. That's mature, healthy relationship behavior, but she's still getting criticized for Ace's actions. Here's what makes it even worse. On September 1st, she posted on X, "Don't ever think it's a compliment to uplift me and while tearing someone else down," which was clearly a general statement about not wanting toxic support. But instead of people respecting her message, they completely turned it around on her. The comments on her post were brutal, with people saying things like, "Your man tried to uplift himself and your relationship by tearing down Nick and Ola's relationship," and demanding she justify Ace's actions. But here's the thing, since when is she responsible for controlling what Ace says in interviews? The woman was literally minding her own business, posting about positivity, and people dragged her into drama she had nothing to do with. She's out here trying to promote healthy energy and gets attacked for her partner's choices that she probably had no say in. The fact that people expect her to police Ace's interviews or answer for his decisions is absolutely wild. Nobody deserves to get hate for their partner's independent choices, especially when they're clearly trying to handle things with grace and maturity. But while this drama unfolds, other couples are showing us how to handle post-villa life the right way. But speaking of damage control, wait until you hear about the mysterious disclaimer situation from their recent photo shoot. Now let's talk about timing, because it's about to get really suspicious. Ace and Shelley did a beautiful couples feature for Essence magazine, talking about building their relationship post-villa and navigating the spotlight together. But here's the tea. Allegedly, the publication felt the need to add a disclaimer that the shoot was done prior to recent events.
But because of all that, all the drama of Love Island, they are getting so much hate in the comment section of this post of them being on the cover, to the point that they had to insert in the caption on the Essence Instagram that this was captured before recent developments. Like, yikes.
Why would a major magazine need to distance themselves from the timing of a couple's photo shoot? What recent events were they referring to? Could it be that whole bitter interview situation that backfired spectacularly and made Ace look like a jealous ex-friend? When magazines are allegedly adding disclaimers to your content to clarify timing, that's not the kind of attention you want. The optics are absolutely terrible, and it's giving serious damage control energy. But here's what really exposes the jealousy behind all this drama: the massive success that was happening for Nicolandria right when this bitterness started. Let's start with our Queen Olandria, who just signed with Digital Brand Architects, the UTA-owned management firm that's literally the first digital influencer management company ever created. We're not talking about some random talent agency. This is the company that represents the biggest names in digital media. The fact that they're handling her with a 360 strategy for thoughtful growth and expansion across the lifestyle and entertainment spaces means they see serious long-term potential. This isn't influencer of the month energy. This is building an empire territory. And the timing? This announcement came right around when certain people started feeling some type of way about their former villa mate's success. But wait until you hear about the brand partnerships that are making everyone else look amateur by comparison. The level of success we're about to discuss will make the timing of that bitter interview even more obvious. But first, let's talk about why Ace is so pressed right now. During the post-villa criticism and public heat Ace was getting, he expected Nick to publicly defend him.
And I know you probably about to ask me about the whole Nick is not a part of that equation. It's just, again, certain things I don't rock with. I feel like if you're my friend behind closed doors, you're gonna be my friend in public.
Sure.
And again, we all have fun, we joke, we troll. I seen that he did a whole tattoo thing, funny as hell. But when it comes to the serious shit regarding my character, that's the things I take serious.
And you feel like he didn't stand up for you and or silence narratives when he had the opportunity.
And I told him that. I told him, I said, yo, I feel like the answer that you gave was just mad PR, and I didn't respect it. And he was like, well, I'm pretty much over it. So I was like, okay, cool.
He said, I'm pretty much over it?
Yeah, I'm pretty much over the whole thing. Like, so like for me, this is my life, respectfully.
But here's the thing. Why is that Nick's responsibility? Throughout all my research, I couldn't find a single instance of Nick speaking negatively about Ace publicly. Actually, when Ace posted his freestyle rap addressing Villa drama, fellow Islanders like Austin and TJ were supportive in the comments, showing general cast support. Nick was clearly dealing with his own mental health struggles, posting on Snapchat that his day went from 10 out of 10 to 4 out of 10 after the interview. The man is building a career, managing a relationship, and handling his own public scrutiny. So why is Ace the only one feeling unsupported? Maybe because he was expecting special treatment that wasn't his to demand. And honestly, if Nick had spoken up about the hate Ace was receiving, wouldn't that just bring more attention to it? Perhaps he thought it was better to let it die down naturally instead of giving the drama more oxygen to breathe. Real friends celebrate your success without adding conditions or expecting you to become their personal crisis manager. They don't weaponize private conversations on podcasts just because you didn't volunteer to be their PR department. The entitlement is honestly embarrassing to witness, but I'd like to hear what you think. Let me know in the comments whether you think Nick should have spoken up. But while all this drama was unfolding, Nicolandria was busy securing deals that most reality stars can only dream about. Since leaving the villa, Nicolandria has collaborated with Agua de Kefir, NYX Professional Makeup, and Kulani Kinas. But it's not just the quantity, it's the quality and authenticity that's setting them apart from typical reality TV partnerships. The NYX collaboration is particularly genius. It started because Nick mentioned in an interview that he keeps Olandria's lip combo featuring NYX gloss in his pocket. That's not a forced brand partnership. That's organic love turning into business opportunities because their connection is so genuine. Nick launched his own curated line with Kulani Kinas called Kulani Kinas X Nick, and naturally featured Olandria in the campaign. The man was already modeling with them since 2021, but now they're leveraging their couple power to create something bigger together. But here's where it gets really impressive. Nick has been setting up European photo shoots for Olandria, taking her to Greece for her first time in Europe as part of paid campaigns. We're talking international travel, high-end modeling opportunities, and career elevation that would make established influencers jealous. No wonder certain people are feeling pressed, but the cultural impact they're having goes way beyond just brand deals. What's really driving people crazy is that Nicolandria has become a cultural phenomenon that sparked conversations about interracial relationships and supportive partnerships. CNN literally wrote a whole piece comparing them to iconic reality TV couples throughout history. Olandria specifically talked about representing Black women and how before we came into this world, Black women already had a label. But with Nick, she can be the soft woman that I've always wanted to be. That's not just cute couple content, that's shifting cultural narratives. The fact that they're having these deeper conversations while also serving looks and securing major deals shows a level of substance that clearly threatens people who are still stuck in villa drama mode. While all this drama is unfolding, let's acknowledge the couples who are actually supporting each other and staying focused on building their relationships instead of tearing others down. Taylor Williams and Clark Caraway are absolutely crushing it, staying exclusive and working on their long-distance relationship between Oklahoma and South Carolina. They're planning visits where Taylor introduces Clark to rodeo world and country life, while she shows him city life and fine dining. That's what real couples do. They focus on building their future together instead of weaponizing private conversations on podcasts. They understand that there's room for everyone to succeed without tearing others down. And speaking of success, let me tell you about the numbers that are probably keeping certain people up at night. Here's what really happened. Olandria's TikTok followers went from under 8,000 to 1.4 million. She's gone from her corporate job as an elevator and escalator sales specialist to international modeling campaigns and major agency representation. Nick has been so intentional, it is insane. Listening to her dreams and making them happen immediately, checking off items on her bucket list. Olandria bragged recently,
I'm so happy that I was blessed with this guy who allows me to bask in my femininity, you know what I mean? Allows me to be soft. You know what? He takes the wheel. Usually I'm a control freak. I let him do everything, you know? I said I want to go to Europe. We was in Europe. I want to be a model. I was in 2 shoots, you know what I mean? Like, the support that I have from this guy is unreal. So it allows me to be the soft woman that I've always wanted to be.
no man has ever in my 27 years shown me this much consistency. They're not just surviving the hate, they're thriving despite it. Every bitter interview, every attempt to discredit their connection, Every passive-aggressive comment just highlights how pressed people are by their obvious success and genuine happiness. The haters are working overtime while Nicolandria is working smarter, building an empire and proving that authentic love creates real opportunities. The contrast couldn't be more obvious. At the end of the day, what we're witnessing is a masterclass in how success exposes people's true character. Nicolandria has become a beloved part of reality couple history, while sparking cultural conversations and building legitimate business empires. Meanwhile, people who should be celebrating their friends' success are instead choosing podcast tours and cryptic allegations. The timing is suspicious, the motivation is transparent, and the results speak for themselves. Real couples like Taylor and Clark are showing us what it looks like to focus on your own journey. Even Ace and Shelley, when they're operating in their own lane, can build beautiful relationships. But the moment you start trying to tear others down to lift yourself up, you've already lost. His standing on business has gotten out of hand. It may just be time for him to sit this one out and enjoy some lovely time with his partner. The message is clear: support your friends, celebrate their wins, and focus on building your own success instead of trying to diminish others. Nicolandria is proof that when you're genuinely happy and building something real, the bitter interviews just become background noise. What do you think about this whole situation? Are you team focus on your own success? Or do you think calling out relationships is fair game when the timing is this suspicious? And honestly, seeing Nicolandria thrive despite all the attempts to tear them down, is there anything more satisfying than watching authentic love win? Let me know in the comments, because this whole mess has given us so much to unpack. Remember to hit that like button if you're here for couples who actually support each other. And don't forget about that hype button. Every tap helps us keep celebrating the relationships we actually want to see succeed. The remaining Love Island couples have shown us what it looks like to handle post-villa life with grace. And there's room for everyone to win when we're lifting each other up instead of trying to drag others down. Spilling the tea, one drop at a time.